Good morning. My name's Ryan. This is week 4 of our Healthy Horizons tobacco cessation program. This week for week 4, focusing on stronger every day, taking control and staying quit. So looking at the week 4 agenda, we're going to start off by talking about how to stay strong and resilient. We're going to, again, remember why we're trying to quit. Talk about some other healthy lifestyle pillars that can help us stay strong and resilient. What can we do to lean on the support what we talked about last week? Introducing a new thing with practicing positive self-talk, right? Working with ourselves, not being judgmental, not beating ourselves up. Then really think about how can we really take control and stay tobacco and nicotine free moving forward. We're going to focus more on identifying those really high risk moments, right? Kind of going back to week 2 with those, what are our triggers? We'll talk again about our 4D strategy. We can use those in those high risk moments, other coping strategies we can use in those high risk moments. And slip ups and relapses are going to happen. So we'll talk about how we recover. And again, like always, finish up with some key takeaways and talk about our week 4 homework. Just starting off with staying strong, staying resilient. Let's go back to week 1. Remember your why. Why are we trying to quit? Your reasons matter. Right? Are we trying to quit for ourselves, for our spouse, for our children, our grandchildren? If it's for our grandkids, can we get their picture, put it in our wallet, put it in our purse, put it on our desk, put it in our car? Right. That way we can really kind of create this link to the desire to quit for the love of our family. If we have our kids' picture, our grandkids' picture there, our spouse picture, all right, we're going to really kind of link up that desire to quit, link that to our love of our family. But think about your own health goals as well. It doesn't have to be just quitting for other people, but for yourself as well, your own health, your own financial reasons. Really want to encourage you guys to think about in the future, right? A little visioning question. What would life feel like if you're able to quit now? What would that actually look like? 6 months from now, a year from now, what would things be like? We can also focus on other healthy lifestyle pillars where we don't have to just focus on quitting. Think about other healthy lifestyle pillars such as stress management, right? Our mental and emotional well-being certainly matter. Right? Can we manage stress, other emotions with healthy coping strategies? Thinking about our nutrition or our diet, are we eating a fairly healthy diet? Are we eating unhealthy diet? Do we even know what we're eating? Right? Thinking about our diet, are we eating a nice variety of color fruits and vegetables, getting in quality whole grains, choosing quality lean meats? Are we staying properly hydrated, getting enough water? We want to think about our movement and our physical activity. Are we getting at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity aerobic activity? Are we connecting with others? Are we building relationships, building our social connections, building our community? Can we make sure to stay connected, spend quality time with loved ones, friends, family, coworkers, anybody that's close around us? Are we getting good sleep? Again, these other lifestyle pillars make us stronger, make us more resilient. Lastly, are we avoiding other risky substances? And if you're interested in any of these other healthy lifestyle pillars, we offer a lot of classes through our Best Health program. So things like our Flourish class, we talk about all these different pillars. If you're focused just on like maybe more mental and emotional well-being or stress management, things like our Best You class really focus on those. So think about maybe even taking some of our other Best Health classes that we offer. Again, building on what we talked about last week, we want to make sure we're not only finding our support, but let's lean on them, right? That way we can really kind of share our progress, share our challenges, that we don't have to face these challenges alone. So we can check in with our support team regularly, reach out to them when we're feeling those urges, feeling those cravings. We can certainly talk to our primary care provider for help and guidance, what suggestions they have, especially if we're trying to use the NRT options or other medications. If you want to talk to a professional counselor, we have the EAP Concern program that's free for us. I think that's a fantastic opportunity to talk to a health professional if you want to work on counseling. can join this Empowered to Quit. Empowered to Quit is just an email-based program that help us kind of quit smoking. Just going to email us, help us quit smoking, or quit vaping. Just kind of giving them some insightful emails. The 1-800-QUIT NOW, that's a CDC hotline, free hotline that you can actually get some coaching from them. And then lastly, we have this substance abuse and mental health services hotline that you could also call. Again, these are professional services. Those are going to be, counselors that work for EAP Concern, right? They're licensed counselors, right? So I can talk about simple things to improve our mental health and well-being, but they're going to be able to take it to the next level. So reach out to professional support if you feel like you need that. Lastly, with staying resilient, really want to work with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Practice positive self-talk, right? We know quitting is a difficult endeavor. It takes a lot of attempts usually to be successful. Right, so no need to beat yourself up. Right, we're gonna have some slip ups. We're not gonna do as good as we'd like to have seen from time to time. Let's make sure we work with ourselves, right? So we can do that by speaking to ourselves the way we would speak to a friend or a loved one, right? We aren't going to talk harshly to them, probably. Why do we need to do that to ourselves? So let's make sure to stay compassionate with ourselves during the hard days, to be realistic with yourself. We don't have to have that all or nothing attitude, right? We can kind of go back and say, hey, I tried this today. It didn't go well, unfortunately, for whatever reason. But let's try again tomorrow, right? I made that first step. I tried. Maybe I failed, but let's try again tomorrow. Like, for example, maybe I put the patch on today, still reach for a cigarette, right? I did do something positive by putting on the patch today. Maybe I still slipped up. I can try and be intentional again tomorrow. Notice progress, even if it feels small. Again, focus on progress, not perfection. Focus on what you've been gaining. Have we been feeling better? Do we have more energy, more time, more health? Those really help us. And think about, we can really take this to the next level by practicing positive self affirmations, right? This will pass. I can handle this moment, right? Talking yourself up. So not only not talking down to ourselves, let's take the next step further and talk up ourselves, right? I've got the strength to make this happen. This will pass. I'm going to handle this, this moment, right? I'll try it again tomorrow. Wherever it might be, practice that positive self-talk. It's really going to set us up for success, right? It's going to really help us stay strong, stay mentally strong and resilient. Right, now that we've built this strength, built this resilience, then we can really think about how can we take control moving forward and try our best to stay tobacco nicotine free. Going back to week 2, we talked a lot about triggers. So again, let's make sure we're knowing what our high risk moments are that we're going to be, making us feel like we want to reach for our tobacco nicotine products. So let's identify all the times, places, emotions, people that might kind of increase that urge or increase our cravings. Or again, stress is a big one. We've talked a lot about that over the last couple of weeks. Social events can be a big one. Things like going out to the bars, we're too bored even. Other strong emotions, not just stress, but other strong emotions, right? So again, more awareness of your high risk moments, right? Your moments, right? Not mine or anybody else's, really help you prepare instead of reacting, right? We know these moments are going to come up. What are we going to do? So we're not reacting in the moment. Yeah, let's use the 4D strategy. This really just helps, right? Can we delay that craving that craving's going to increase in intensity and hopefully wane over time? Can we delay by doing something else? Can we delay by drinking some water? Can we delay by doing some deep breathing exercises? All this will give us a chance, right? It's not going to be easy, but over time, hopefully that craving starts to wane. While we're doing something else, while we're doing the deep breathing, while we're drinking the water, help us, get past that craving. To further take control, right, we can have more coping strategies ready. We talked about the deep breathing exercises or grounding exercises. But maybe we just want to do some quick stretches. Maybe we want to get up and actually go for a walk. Lots of other healthy distractions that we can be doing. putting together some puzzles. That certainly takes a lot of brain power. Maybe want to call a loved one. Maybe want to listen or play some music. I can't play any music, but that'd be fun. Maybe want to attend a religious service, read some scripture. Other coping strategies, right? We talked about the nicotine replacement therapy options, if needed or if applicable. And again, these are going to work from time to time, so we can update the coping strategies as needed, as necessary. So really try to take note of what's working, right? Maybe the puzzles are really working. We'll focus on that. Or maybe walking is really working for us, right? Let's make sure to focus on that. But let's say maybe on the other flip side, right? Maybe stretching is not working. Let's try something else, right? If they're not working, we can move those out, try something new. So let's be flexible. We can try new tools if we're facing new challenges. Again, we can adjust our strategies kind of based on our triggers, stress levels, routines. And again, their coping strategies are going to evolve over time. Just because it works today doesn't mean it's always going to work tomorrow. So really think about staying tobacco free. We know it's tough. Like lots of times, you've heard this saying, right? We're one cigarette away from a pack a day. It's easy to fall back into old habits. It's really tough to maintain the new habits. So if you do slip up, please don't give up and do your best to get back on track as soon as possible. If you do slip up or relapse, remember your why. Reassess your quit plan. Do we need to change anything? Or am I still on track? Maybe today was just really tough, right? If it was to just today, if it was just a slip up, it's not a failure, it's a learning moment. Why did I slip up? What led to that? Then we can start to adjust our plan. And taking the experience, learning from the slip up can better prepare ourselves for the next time it might happen, or something similar like that might happen again. We just talked about the positive self-talk. Let's be compassionate with ourselves. Let's not judge ourselves harshly. Let's make sure to shift our mindset so that we can stay strong and stay resilient. And make sure to get back on track as quickly as possible, right? If we're doing this as a slip up and not failure, it's gonna be easier to get back on track. We're gonna feel more confident as we're getting back on track. But if you do relapse, try not to get discouraged. It can take some people 10 to even 20 attempts to successfully quit. This is not an easy endeavor. We recognize that. So that's why we're here to help you guys, trying to give you guys some tools and tips to use. But the important thing is to identify what helped you when you tried to quit, what did not help you, right? And we can make some plans based off of that. If it didn't help, let's not use that again. If it did help, let's try to use that again. Again, trying to quit, trying to cut back, it's going to be tough. But any reduction is a great first step. Maybe we can just start by decreasing the number of cigarettes we smoke in a day, or even just increasing the time between our cigarettes or our vaping. All that, again, progress is going to lead to a better tomorrow. So some key takeaways: slip ups, just learning opportunities, not setbacks. One slip does not erase success. How you respond matters even more. Let's make sure to be prepared. Right, we talked about a lot about preparation last week, but more preparation is going to increase our confidence, increase our control. Having these coping strategies ready is going to make it easier to stay tobacco and nicotine free during these high stressful moments or unexpected situations. The more we start by we're really building that resilience with every challenge we face. Each time we get through a craving, we're going to be stronger, be more confident to stay quit. Let's make sure to use our support. Support is a tool we can be using. Let's reach out for help when we need it. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's going to improve our long-term success. Lastly, progress is about consistency, right? It's all about progress, not perfection. Staying quit is built through repeated healthy choices over time. Those are our key takeaways. Please make sure to complete the week 4 homework. Should have been emailed the link. Please make sure to get that done before the next online class. We are required to complete that before the next online class to stay active in the program. Of course, if you have any questions, reach out to your instructor, and I hope you have a wonderful day.